So today we're talking about heaven, the final stage of shadow work. Now, this stage is called heaven because this is where we understand our soul's space and how we're interacting and relating to knowledge in itself, and how that knowledge is producing a pearl, a wisdom that we are essentially attracted to and we get intimate with. And from us getting intimate with that wisdom, that produces a feeling, and from that feeling we fall into different urges that correspond to our natural abilities. So heaven is about being at a state of peace, being at a state of perfectness. This is where you don't succumb to no external stimulus. Okay, so this is where you transcend all emotions and all feelings. This is where you actually understand the world that you're into as well. There is no goddamn way ever in the totality and existence that you're going to understand yourself if you don't understand your environment, because you are the environment in itself, and the only thing that you're giving a self is how you interact with your fucking environment. So there's no possible way of you even understanding yourself, knowing yourself, if you don't know the world that you're in, aka your environment, your location, and how you interact with your environment and location. That gives you the key to see who you are, which you are no goddamn thing. You are the observer that is being aware of your experiences as being your soul, your spirit taking form into many different forms. Like, so it's about understanding the divine paradox, how you transition into things, but that transition into things, that life and death, you start to see that life itself is a fucking illusion, because we really ain't doing nothing but watching transitions. We're watching cycles play out and mold together to create different unique forms. So heaven is being able to comprehend the language of what different modes and attributes of this universal one thing that we are experiencing is doing. So this is where we're able to identify the universe or God easily. This is what the final stage of heaven, this is what the final stage of shadow work is, aka heaven. But don't look at it as something that you're like in the clouds with. Like, I don't know what y'all be thinking about, see things as, but understand that what I mean by heaven is just strictly your soul space. Whenever you release all those thoughts and feelings that pertain to you changing yourself, that you got to do better, that you need to do this and you need to do that, that's when you start to get into the energies of heaven. Because for one, you don't give a fuck about, like, you are, because this is the thing, this is the math behind it. The reason why you don't give a fuck is because you understand you already perfect. You trust yourself. Okay, so this is how it's going to play out within this world. You already trust yourself. You have confidence within yourself. You know you're going to get things done. So whenever you actually know that, no thought or feeling is going to come over that to remind you to do that, because you already do that. You get what I'm saying? This is how you create a mind to box in certain thoughts and feelings that you don't want to be leaked out into other areas of your life. And this also plays out as you protecting a spot, a space that you don't want other things from other areas to come to attack it by relating to different characters synchronized with different objects from other spaces. So your mind don't get confused from the characteristics, from the novelty of other objects from other spaces interacting with your mind, because your mind, you're everywhere. Like I stated earlier, it's one goddamn thing. It's about the order of these modes and attributes of this one goddamn thing, to understand the context so you can pragmatically approach that knowledge, not this knowledge, not the human, not the education, but how you comprehend life. Okay? Once you get in that energy, that space, and you start to comprehend what God or the universe is telling you, then hey, you're building a mind for that knowledge. And mind you, all education, all knowledge that you see right here today, it comes from what I'm talking about now. This starting point. Understand, okay? You're not missing out on nothing. That's the whole point of me saying that. You're not missing out on nothing. So, heaven is whenever we get into that space of comprehending the language of God, the all, the one thing, okay? This is where we come about the superimposition of how we see reality, from us misidentifying characters from objects. So, like I stated earlier, you have to know hell, because hell is about that. Hell is about understanding, oh, that is a misidentified object on that object. So the characteristic on that object is actually not that characteristic. Why am I attached to that characteristic? Oh, because I do that whenever I'm in this area of my life, and I show that energy by being afraid of that characteristic. So whenever I see that characteristic, my mind gets prepared to be afraid of that characteristic. So whenever I see that characteristic on the object morphs into something that I'm afraid of. That's the math, the science behind your mind and why it does the things that it does. Okay, so this is what heaven is, buddy. It's the opposite of hell. Now you understand that. Now God is communicating with you because now you understand it. Okay, this is what creates the space. Because whenever you understand and comprehend it, this creates the space. Now you're in the space. Now you can transmute and get forms by correlating the forms of attributes from different spaces, from your wisdom, okay, from you being in purgatory, from you cleansing your spirit, picking out the immoral behaviors from your moral compass so that your conscience can be precise, clean. You have clarity. This is what heaven is, buddy. All those good attributes, good modes, good modalities, good energies, great synchronizations of life. You feel like that you don't have to do nothing, but in itself, you know that you're going to do something because you have nothing else to do. So understand that is what heaven is. And we get to heaven by, like I stated earlier, understanding hell, purgatory, and the hero's journey. Like, that's the whole point of me making those videos. Whenever you understand that and you do those energies, do those natures, listen, guys, these spaces open up. So I don't really have to tell you what to do within this space. It's about identifying patterns, okay? When we understand our mind, it's about pattern recognition and remembering patterns with situations and circumstances. This is how we become musicians, wizards of the mind, okay? Thoths, Hermes, things of that nature. Okay, so when we understand that, now we can become the real messenger of the gods. It's your morality. We all go through these things, and just because you're not in a space to tell it, how's your mirror telling it, that don't necessarily mean that you're not in the heaven stage, because we all experience these stages, even on like micro scale. It's about inferring where you are now, aka the micro to the macro, your ideals within this context. Whenever your mind sees energies over and over again, you start to get a vibe from it. You start to feel it, and that feeling helps you connect what you are experiencing to what you think you are experiencing. This is where you put in a thought, or you correlate some information. And this is where the importance of knowledge comes into play. So this is where knowledge of proper thought patterns comes into play. Okay, because if you create a faulty thought pattern from that science, then hey, buddy, your next go around, how you be able to identify that energy, you're gonna see that, oh, I was wrong. So I'm wrong, and I did all that I thought that I could do. Now you're in a space of feeling like you're defeated. Oh, that is what heaven is. It's your soul space. Like I stated earlier, like your Garden of Eden, how you're connected to information, to forms of knowledge, and how you're getting wisdom from that knowledge, and how you're interacting with that wisdom, how you're getting feelings from that wisdom that create moments of ooh, ah, aha moments. Okay, that's where those things come from, and from there we see our attributes of ourselves, of the soul. So this plays out as your gifts and your talents, and from your gifts and talents you create urges to express yourself. And this is how we get into the knowledge of the demiurge and all esoteric occult knowledge. Understand you and yourself, then you can come outside and get some good knowledge from people that's already did it before. So like, comment, subscribe.